In 1902, the government of a major city declared war on its rats. They were so confident they paid their citizens a bounty, 1 coin for every rat killed. Within months, the streets were full of rats running around with no tails, and out in the countryside, people had started farming them. This is the story of how the smartest plan in the city created exactly the disaster it was meant to prevent, and why that keeps happening to this day. The city was Hanoi. The year, the turn of the 20th century, and the man with the plan was a Frenchman named Paul Doumer. Doumer had arrived in 1897, a former finance minister who had just resigned in disgrace after a tax scheme of his collapsed. Indochina was his second chance, a place to prove what French reason and its engineering could do, and he built wide boulevards, grand villas, and beneath it all, the crowning symbol of progress, a sewer system, miles of cool, clean pipe running under the European Quarter, carrying away everything unclean. In the finest homes, the ultimate luxury, a flushing toilet. To Doumer, the sewer was civilization itself, buried beneath the street. Order imposed on chaos. He had not considered who else might find 9 miles of dark, warm tunnel quite so comfortable. Underground, with no predators and an endless supply of waste, the rats did what rats do. They bred and they bred. The sewer Doumer built to carry filth away became a hidden highway carrying rats directly beneath the wealthiest streets in the city. Then they began to surface, climbing up through the drains, out of the toilets, into the villas, and they brought something with them. This was the age of the bubonic plague, and rats were suspected of carrying it. Suddenly, the symbol of French cleanliness was vomiting sickness within their homes. Something had to be done, and the colonial government was very, very good at doing something. The first plan was direct. The government hired Vietnamese labourers to go down into the sewers and kill the rats. Payment would be straightforward. They'd agree on a simple rate for each rat caught. Think about what that work actually was. You climb down into a cramped, lightless tunnel. You wade through human waste in every stage of decay. You hunt a wild animal that may be carrying plague-infected fleas, in the dark, alongside whatever snakes and spiders that also may call the sewer home. And at first, it worked. The numbers are staggering and they are real, pulled from the colonial records. In the last week of April, nearly 8,000 rats killed. By mid-May, over 4,000 a day. On the 30th of May alone, 15,041. And on the 21st of June, 20,112 rats in a single day. 20,000 in one day. And the rat population barely moved. You cannot outkill an animal that breeds faster than you can hunt it. The French were winning every battle, but still losing the war. So they got clever. If the official hunters couldn't keep up, why not enlist the whole city? A bounty was announced. Any citizen could earn 1 cent for every rat they killed. The French loved this idea. It rewarded initiative, enterprise, exactly the values they wanted to instill. There was just one practical problem. They did not want thousands of rotting rat corpses delivered to the town hall. So they asked for proof instead. Not the rat, just the tail. Bring in a tail, collect your coin. And the tails poured in, by the thousands. On paper, the plan was a triumph. Until the sightings started. All over Hanoi, people began noticing the same strange thing. Rats, alive, healthy, scurrying through the streets with no tails. The logic was perfect, and it was the city's own logic turned against it. Why kill a rat that produces a valuable tail, when you can simply cut the tail off and release the rat to breed more tailed rats? A dead rat pays once. A living rat is a renewable income. It got worse. Some were smuggling rats in from outside the city to cash in. And then the health inspectors found the thing that ended it all. On the outskirts of Hanoi, farms, quiet little operations in the countryside, dedicated entirely to breeding rats, for their tails. The government had set out to destroy every rat in the city. Instead, it had created a brand new industry built on producing them. The bounty was quietly scrapped. The rats stayed. They went on breeding in the sewers, untouched, and the disease the French had feared all along did exactly what they feared. In 1906, plague broke out in Hanoi. At least 263 people died, most of them Vietnamese, and Paul Doma, he went home celebrated as the most effective Governor-General Indochina had ever had. He would later be elected President of France. We only know this story at all because decades later, a historian named Michael Vann found a folder in a French archive labelled Destruction of Animals, Rats, and couldn't resist asking what had happened to them. It's easy to file this away as a funny lesson about incentives. Pay for tails, get tail farms. Economists even have a name for it, the Cobra effect. But Vann argues the real lesson is darker and bigger. It's a story about the arrogance of modern power, the belief that enough reason, enough engineering, enough confidence can solve any problem, while the evidence right in front of you is ignored. The same certainty that promised to wipe out the rats, the same certainty that a few years later promised the machine gun would make wars short. When Vann went to Hanoi to research all this, he opened a drawer in the archive and felt a rat run across his hand. Long after the French were gone, the rats remained. If you'd want to walk away from a paradise built on someone else's suffering, that's a different story, and it's the one I'm telling next. Subscribe, and I'll see you underground.